Ever feel guilt, fear, or doubt quietly steering your life? What if what holds you back also unlocks your strength? This video explores Carl Jung's shadow and how embracing it fosters true emotional freedom and your full potential. You'll also learn to confront hidden forces limiting you. First, who was Carl Jung? A renowned psychologist of mind and spirit. Jung said, "Everyone carries a shadow, and the less it is embodied in the individual's conscious life, the blacker and denser it is." In short, the more we ignore the shadow, the more it shapes us without our awareness influencing behavior and emotion and leaving us stuck or disconnected. Neglecting it breeds problems we may blame others for what is ours: projection fueling, relationship conflict, and alienation from self. Stay with me. By the end, you'll know how to counter what's been covertly in control. Like, subscribe, and comment which part of your shadow you're ready to explore. Recognizing the shadow is only step one toward self-understanding, the start of real change. And what if traits you were told to hide are actually the basis of your greatest strength? Which part of your shadow are you most curious to meet? First, comment 1. If you have ever noticed guilt, fear, or doubt quietly steering your choices. Comment 2. If you've experienced a hidden trait surprising you as a real strength. If you feel these psychology sharings are helpful and relatable, you're welcome to become a channel member and stay with us on a deeper journey. As a member, you'll get early and extended access to more in-depth practical content that you can apply in everyday life. Your shadow holds a crucial secret that can transform how you see yourself and your potential. Carl Jung introduced the shadow, arguing, "These hidden parts are shaped by family, society, and life experience. From childhood, we learn what's acceptable and push away parts that don't fit." Jung called this the personal shadow, the storehouse of traits and feelings we suppress or reject. For example, a child repeatedly told anger is wrong learns to bury it. As an adult, they may struggle with assertiveness or feel frustrated by people who express emotions freely. Yet, exploring that buried anger can reveal the key to healthy assertiveness and boundary-setting skills, vital for success and well-being. Jung also described the collective shadow, the hidden aspects of groups or cultures such as shared fears, prejudices, and biases. A culture that prizes toughness may suppress vulnerability, hindering emotional expression and genuine connection. Personal and collective shadows act daily. Someone who hides vulnerability may grow defensive when criticized. Someone who buried creativity may envy those who express it. These hidden parts shape our reactions, often outside awareness. The good news: understanding your shadow is the first step to reclaiming lost parts of self. Despite its name, it isn't to be feared. It holds great potential. Ignored it builds barriers to authenticity. Explored it reveals strengths and talents you missed. It often appears as emotional triggers, say a strong reaction to someone's confidence, signaling your buried wish to be confident. Triggers are clues to what's hidden in the shadow. Jung taught it contains both negative and positive traits, instincts, creativity, and insight. The shadow is not a threat, but a misunderstood part awaiting exploration and acceptance. Next, we'll dive into shadow work, the practice of uncovering and reclaiming hidden parts of self. It includes exploring emotions, identifying triggers, and reflecting on suppressed qualities. Shadow work builds self-awareness, emotional resilience, and a more authentic life. By learning these methods, you'll unlock hidden strengths and align more closely with your true self. As we explore our inner shadows, we often miss their daily influence. Have you ever instantly disliked someone without knowing why? Carl Jung's idea of psychological projection helps explain many conflicts we still attribute to the other fellow, all the evil and inferior qualities that we do not like to recognize in ourselves. This shows that parts we ignore shape how we view others, creating misunderstanding and tension. Projection is the unconscious transfer of our unwanted traits or feelings onto someone else. This defense helps us avoid parts of ourselves that feel uncomfortable. By projecting, we distance ourselves from what we don't wish to face. For instance, when a colleague's arrogance really irritates you, you may judge them as self-centered. The twist your intense reaction may signal your shadow. Perhaps you've buried your own desire for recognition or success. What you see in them could mirror something hidden in you. Noticing projection in daily life yields insight. Strong reactions, frustration, judgment, envy invite reflection on your inner world. They often signal shadow material needing attention and healing. Growing aware of projection transforms relationships. Instead of criticizing or defending, pause and ask, what does this reveal about me? This shift fosters authenticity and compassion. By showing our perceptions are shaped by unresolved issues. Spotting projection requires time, self-awareness, and patience. Recall when a spouse, child, or parent got under your skin. Rather than react, pause and ask, what am I seeing in them that I avoid in myself? This simple shift opens deeper self-understanding and can reveal long-hidden parts. It clarifies your emotions and strengthens relationships with those closest to you. Projection isn't always negative. Your shadow may hold positive traits hidden by social pressures or fear. Admiring someone's creativity or bravery may reflect qualities within you awaiting acceptance. Recognizing positive projections lets you reclaim strengths and use them with greater confidence. Working with projection and integrating the shadow is ongoing. As Carl Jung said, only the man who goes through this darkness can hope to make any further progress. The journey takes courage and patience, but the rewards are substantial. Confronting projections and embracing hidden parts cultivate self-awareness, emotional resilience, and more genuine relationships. Journeying through inner darkness often leads to unexpected light. What if your darkest, most shame-laden traits are keys to your highest potential? This reverses common views of growth. Carl Jung held that the parts we hide aren't only flawed, they also contain strengths like creativity, confidence, and assertiveness. His shadow concept invites a new lens, not a bundle of weaknesses, but a well of untapped potential. This perspective encourages approaching shadow work with curiosity and openness, not fear or judgment. Consider assertiveness in many cultures, especially for women. It's framed as pushy or bold, so people suppress it into the shadow. Brought into the light, it's a strength. It supports healthy boundaries, self-advocacy, and confident pursuit of goals. Creativity is another trait buried by social pressure or fear. Someone who sidelines artistic dreams for practical reasons may feel frustrated or unfulfilled. Embracing creativity unlocks deep innovation and self-expression, enriching life. Jung believed integrating hidden parts leads to psychological wholeness. True growth comes not from rejecting or hiding who we are, but from embracing and working with all parts of the psyche. The goal is to become your most complete, authentic self, but that isn't easy. Jung said the shadow is a moral problem that challenges the whole ego personality. For no one can become conscious of the shadow without considerable moral effort. In short, shadow work is hard. It asks us to face long ignored parts of ourselves. It's uncomfortable, even scary, but the payoff is worth it. By reclaiming positive qualities hidden in the shadow, we unlock new strength, creativity, and resilience. These traits help us face challenges with more flexibility and authenticity, drawing on the full range of who we are. To begin identifying positive shadow traits, try this simple exercise. Think of someone you admire or even envy. Which qualities stand out? Ask if those traits also exist in you, perhaps hidden or underdeveloped. This reflection offers insights into your shadow and highlights growth areas. Another way, notice your emotional reactions. When someone triggers a strong positive or negative response, ask what that reaction reveals about your hidden qualities. Often, what provokes us most are traits we've buried in the shadow. Remember, the goal isn't to eliminate the shadow, it's a natural part of us. The aim is a conscious relationship with it. By understanding and working with your shadow, you harness its energy for growth and self-awareness, leading to a more balanced, resilient, and fulfilled life. What does it take to face your deepest fears? The ones buried so deep, they're barely recognizable shadow work. Promises profound growth, yet can be challenging, and many turn away when discomfort arises. But what if that discomfort is the key to greater self-awareness and hidden strengths? What emerges when we face those fears? Carl Jung held that understanding the shadow isn't enough. It takes moral courage to face it. He said to become conscious of it involves recognizing the dark aspects of the personality as present and real. In other words, shadow work confronts the parts we've long avoided or denied. The first step is often resistance. The mind protects us from threats, and self-reflection can intimidate when it challenges our self-image. That discomfort is a signal you're close to something important that needs healing and integration. Shadow work needs both bravery and kindness. Courage to face parts that feel uncomfortable or contradict your self-image, and compassion instead of judgment. Meeting these hidden parts with kindness creates space for real healing and growth. Early on, you may feel guilt, shame, or anger. Don't treat them as roadblocks. View them as signals pointing to areas needing attention. Acknowledging, not avoiding, opens the door to healing. Emotional resilience is crucial. Learn to sit with hard truths without being overwhelmed. Mindfulness meditation helps you observe thoughts and feelings without getting entangled, watching emotions rise and fall, like waves, without being swept away. Another vital element is releasing judgment. We often hide traits society or past experiences taught us to reject. Instead of condemning them, approach with curiosity. This shift enables deeper understanding and healing. Shadow work isn't a one-time event, it's ongoing. Uncover one layer, and another may surface. Jung called it a long process of negotiation, a continual dialogue with the unconscious, slowly bringing hidden parts into awareness. If you're new, start small. Don't plunge into your most painful past. Examine minor daily irritations or judgments. These small moments are gateways to your shadow. As you grow comfortable, explore deeper layers. Journaling is powerful. It offers a safe space to express thoughts and feelings that might stay hidden. Don't aim for perfect right freely. You'll begin to notice patterns and themes that reveal avoided parts of yourself. Support from a mentor makes the work more manageable. A skilled guide offers tools for hard emotions, adds perspective, and highlights shadow aspects you may not see alone. How have you approached shadow work so far? Comment 1 if you have ever tried it solo with journaling or reflection. Comment 2 if you've experienced support from a therapist, coach, or mentor. What if a pen and paper could change your life? The shadow holds immense potential for growth. How do we access it daily? You might think it needs elaborate rituals or costly therapy, but a few minutes of daily self-reflection can transform how you see yourself and the world. Carl Jung believed simple, practical methods are key. Understanding the shadow isn't enough. We must actively engage it. Journaling is especially effective. Writing helps you dive into emotions and identify hidden or ignored parts within a safe private space. Shadow journaling isn't about perfect sentences or meticulous diaries. It's letting thoughts and feelings flow freely. This uncensored expression reveals patterns in reactions or behaviors you might otherwise miss. To start, set daily, distraction-free time to write. Focus on moments that triggered strong emotions. Ask, what exactly upset me here? Why did I react that way? Reflecting on these questions can reveal parts you've avoided or denied. Mindfulness pairs well with journaling. It trains you to observe thoughts and feelings without judgment. Staying present helps you notice when you project onto others or ignore yourself. A simple practice: pause a few times daily to check mental and physical states. Self-reflection exercises also help when someone's behavior really irritates you. Don't focus only on them. Turn inward and ask, what am I seeing in this person that I might be denying in myself? This simple shift reveals shadow parts needing attention. Jung emphasized honesty and self-compassion. As you uncover new aspects, meet them with curiosity, not criticism. The goal isn't to get rid of your shadow, but to understand it and build a healthier relationship with it. A simple daily routine: start with a few minutes of mindfulness. Notice thoughts and emotions without attachment. During the day, take brief check-ins, especially after strong triggers. In the evening, journal 10 to 15 minutes, noting insights or emotional patterns. If resistance or discomfort arises, that's normal. It often means you're nearing something important in the subconscious. When hard emotions surface, be gentle with yourself. It takes courage to face your shadow, and each small step is a win toward awareness and growth. Why do some stories resonate across cultures and eras? They reveal more about us than we think. Myths. Books and legends mirror the parts we try to hide, what Carl Jung called the shadow. A famous example is Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde by Robert Louis Stevenson. Dr. Jekyll brews a potion that turns him into Mr. Hyde, a wild, evil self. The change shows what happens when we suppress our darker sides. The message is clear: ignoring the shadow can be destructive. Balance requires acknowledging and accepting those hidden parts. The story feels powerful because it taps a universal truth: the inner struggle between who we want to be and what we reject. Dr. Jekyll's effort to split good and bad fails, teaching that wholeness comes not from eliminating the shadow, but from embracing and working with it. Global myths also teach about the shadow. Tricksters like Loki in Norse lore or Coyote in native stories embody chaos, deception, and mischief traits we hesitate to admit. Yet tricksters drive change and growth. Studying them helps us see how our own shadow shapes us and the world around. These stories endure across generations because they touch something deep within us. They let us explore parts we fear to face. By relating to characters' struggles, we see our own shadow anew and grasp the cost of ignoring it. More importantly, many tales show the transformative power of facing the shadow. Heroes confront their darker sides to gain wisdom and strength, echoing Jung's view that the shadow isn't just flaws, but also creativity, insight, and untapped potential. Stories and myths are potent shadow work tools. Notice which characters or plots evoke strong emotion. If a story hits deeply, it may mirror your shadow. Exploring why it stirs you can reveal hidden emotions, desires, or behaviors. Another method, reframe the tale from a different angle. View events through the villain's eyes. Understanding their motives builds empathy and helps you recognize similar traits in yourself. Exploring your shadow through stories offers a unique path to self-discovery. These tales reveal what we've pushed away and guide us toward understanding our psyche. Engaging them becomes a meaningful step toward healing and growth. Working on your personal shadow fuels growth and can heal the world around you. Carl Jung saw the shadow not only as individual, but shared by society, the collective shadow, which includes cultural negatives like prejudice, violence, and injustice that we ignore. Avoiding the collective shadow breeds division, misunderstanding, and rising inequality, often justified as for the greater good. True healing individually and socially requires facing these dark aspects on moral, political, and spiritual levels. Understanding your personal shadow is step one. From there, you can address wider social problems. Facing hidden fears and biases clarifies their links to bigger issues like economic security or healthcare. Personal growth shapes how you treat others and view the world. For example, someone who has examined their prejudices is more likely to spot and challenge unfair treatment at work, sparking real change. Facing the collective shadow takes courage, confronting uncomfortable truths about self and society, having hard conversations, admitting mistakes, and owning historical wrongs. Jung said, "The world is still full of scapegoats," meaning we blame others for what we won't face in ourselves. By facing our flaws, we stop blaming and start creating real solutions. Healing the collective shadow can include public apologies, truthful accounts of past harms, or reparations. Such actions help societies heal and reduce the chance of repeating the same mistakes. Recognizing both personal and collective shadows helps build a fairer, more balanced world. As Jung suggested, facing our own shadows reveals how fears and biases feed larger issues. This awareness drives action, speaking up against unfairness at work, school, and in communities, creating more inclusive, just environments. Businesses, schools, and communities also benefit by facing their collective shadow. Honest dialogue about hard truths leads to healing and progress, admitting past mistakes, confronting prejudice, and changing harmful, long-accepted norms. These steps are tough, but necessary for lasting change. As Jung said, the courage with which we bear our darkness frees others from having to carry it for us. Owning our shadows lightens the load for everyone. Recognizing the collective shadow isn't easy, but it's worth it. It requires noticing patterns, questioning old beliefs, and having tough conversations. Doing so addresses deep-rooted problems and builds fairer, more compassionate communities. As we build kinder, more understanding communities, a key question arises: what is true wholeness? Imagine peace with every part of yourself, even those you've hidden. It may seem impossible, but perhaps balance is closer than you think. Do you feel yourself moving toward wholeness? Comment 1 if you have ever felt brief moments of inner balance emerging. Comment 2 if you've experienced recurring inner conflict and want tools to harmonize it. Carl Jung said becoming whole individuation is central to growth. Individuation harmonizes all parts of self, even repressed ones. True mental health and authenticity arise when conscious, what you're aware of, and unconscious, what's hidden, come together. This isn't perfection or flawlessness. It's recognizing, accepting, and embracing every part, even the uncomfortable ones. Then you stop fighting yourself and projecting onto others, living with more balance, peace, and self-awareness. The benefits of facing your shadow, those hidden, ignored parts, are immense. As you know it better, you grow emotionally stronger, handle challenges more easily, and avoid old harmful patterns. A major benefit is better relationships. Understanding your complexity makes you more empathetic and less judgmental. Rather than projecting fears or frustrations, you connect more honestly and meaningfully, improving personal work and social interactions. People who integrate their shadow often report deep freedom. No longer trapped by social pressure or limiting beliefs, they live more authentically without hiding or pretending. Example, after shadow work. Someone facing workplace criticism responds with curiosity, not defensiveness. Self-awareness highlights triggers, enabling calm, thoughtful replies. They still feel difficult emotions but aren't overwhelmed. In relationships, shadow integration deepens connection. Those who embrace it communicate needs and boundaries openly and see vulnerability as strength, fostering truly supportive, loving bonds. Integration is ongoing, not a one and done. As you surface some aspects, new layers emerge. It takes patience and persistence. Jung said that the long process of negotiation is unavoidable, an ongoing dialogue with the unconscious as more parts come to light. For a felt sense of wholeness, try a simple visualization. Close your eyes in a bright, peaceful place. A mirror stands before you. Instead of your reflection, a shadowy figure appears. As you approach it, reveals parts you've ignored or feared. Rather than turn away, step through the mirror and merge with the shadow. Let discomfort shift into peace and completeness, and carry that wholeness through your day. By accepting all parts of ourselves, we live more fully and authentically. This is the path to true psychological wholeness, acknowledging, integrating, and illuminating every part of who we are. While personal shadow work fosters individual growth, its influence extends further. How has Carl Jung's shadow shaped modern spirituality and self-awareness? From personality tests to healing practices, it has transformed how we explore ourselves and the world. Jung's shadow, the hidden parts we ignore, strongly influences today's growth approaches. The Myers-Briggs Type Indicator draws on his ideas to clarify strengths and weaknesses, helping us notice hidden parts, often the first step toward personal and spiritual growth. Shadow work is now central to many healing practices. Therapists and spiritual healers use it to move beyond surface issues and encourage full self-acceptance. Real healing comes from embracing all parts, even avoided ones. Even traditional methods like cognitive behavioral therapy include shadow elements, probing the beliefs beneath thoughts and actions, often leading us to our shadow, revealing hidden fears or desires we didn't realize shaped our behavior. Research shows facing the shadow fosters deep healing. Self-aware, self-accepting people feel less anxious, grow more emotionally resilient, and form stronger connections. Bringing hidden parts to light frees us from fear and shame. Shadow work also links to emotional intelligence and positive psychology. Spiritual growth isn't constant positivity. It means acknowledging both light and dark within. Only by integrating both do we become truly whole. In leadership and communities, shadow work cultivates honest, compassionate climates. Leaders who face their own shadow lead with greater wisdom, integrity, and authenticity. If you're curious to explore shadow work, many guides and resources can help. Jung's teachings remind us it's not about fixing ourselves, but becoming who we truly are. In doing so, we heal individually and help create a more compassionate world. As you explore, consider how would life change if you embraced your darkness instead of running from it. The path to wholeness often runs through the very shadows we've long avoided. Carl Jung, who introduced the shadow, said there is no light without shadow. This insight shows shadow work's power to transform us. Jung's philosophy stresses balance and authenticity for psychological health. By acknowledging and accepting all parts, even those we've pushed away, we move toward what Jung called individuation. This isn't perfection or flawlessness, but embracing both light and dark. Integration often begins with curiosity. Ask, what parts of me have I avoided? Which traits I judge in others reflect something I've disowned? This tough self-reflection yields vital insights and growth. Embracing your shadow opens a more authentic, fulfilling life. As hidden aspects surface, you gain emotional strength, handle challenges with greater ease, and are less prone to reactive or self-sabotaging patterns. At the core is self-acceptance. Embracing all parts, including those once rejected, creates space for real healing and growth. Self-acceptance doesn't excuse harm. It recognizes roots, often unmet needs, or past experiences, so former weaknesses become strengths. Confronting long-denied parts isn't easy, yet acceptance begins shadow integration. What once felt like shame or fear can become personal power and potential. Picture a more integrated you at work. Instead of reacting defensively, you meet feedback with openness and curiosity. Self-awareness reveals triggers helping you respond thoughtfully rather than be overwhelmed. To experience self-acceptance, try a simple meditation. Sit comfortably, breathe deeply, and bring to mind a part you struggle to accept, a trait, mistake, or challenge. Repeat silently. I acknowledge this part of me. I accept it as part of my whole self. I am worthy of love and acceptance, including all my complexities. Sit with it for a few moments. Remember, embracing the shadow isn't indulging negativity. It's meeting these parts with compassion. You may find what seemed dark or unwanted becomes inner strength, creativity, and deeper self-awareness. As we close this exploration of Carl Jung's shadow, remember, shadow work isn't a one-time task, but a lifelong journey. Jung reminds us that to become conscious of it involves recognizing the dark aspects of the personality as present and real. This ongoing process builds self-awareness, emotional strength, and more authentic relationships. Jung called the shadow the door to our individuality. Engaging it regularly unlocks hidden strengths and turns weaknesses into assets. With patience, curiosity, and compassion, you open to immense growth. At this depth, shadow work stops being a technique and becomes a way of life, the daily practice of holding the tension of opposites until a third thing is born. Jung called this the conjunctio oppositorum, the psychical marriage where anger becomes courage, tenderness gains spine, and ambition remembers humility. You're no longer trying to win against your darkness. You're learning to relate to it, to listen for what it asks you to grow. That is why Jung insisted the shadow is a moral problem. Integration shows up as choices, tiny, traceable behavioral vows. You withdraw a projection before sending the message. You make a clear boundary without punishment. You tell the truth softly when silence would keep you liked. Each act is a stitch, and the fabric it repairs is your character. Active imagination helps here. Notice a charged image from a dream or a repeat trigger in daylight. Then dialogue with it on the page. Ask, what do you want from me, not from me? Often the answer reframes a flaw as a function starved of context, rage wishing to guard innocence, envy asking you to apprentice to your unlived life. As this conversation matures, the ego ceases to play tyrant or victim and becomes what Jung called a faithful servant of the self, the inner regulating center that seeks wholeness over comfort. Freedom, then, isn't the absence of constraint, but the presence of responsibility, the felt capacity to choose in the space where reactions used to run you. Wholeness is not perfection. It is proportion. You won't erase fear, shame, or doubt. You will right-size them, so they inform rather than govern. When that happens, the shadow is no longer a saboteur at the door, but a partner at the table, and your life finally begins to speak in your true voice. As you continue reflect, how could embracing your shadow lead to a more authentic, fulfilling life? The path to self-discovery is yours to explore. Ready to take one small step today? Comment 1 if you have ever committed to a 10-minute shadow journaling session tonight. Comment 2 if you've experienced growth from a quick mindfulness check-in you'll repeat this week. If you'd love to keep receiving more meaningful videos about psychology healing and understanding yourself better, consider supporting the channel by becoming a member. Your registration not only unlocks more valuable content for you, but also gives me the motivation to keep creating and sharing regularly.